welcome back to another episode of Black and White Confessions. As you guys can tell from the title, this is going to be a very heavy video. This is probably the heaviest, hardest video I have ever told, or a story I have ever given on YouTube. And so before we get into the video, I want you guys to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, press the bell button, and then select all so that you never miss a video and your post notifications will be turned on. Remember to subscribe, go ahead and like this video, and at the end of it, remember to share it. Now, just a disclaimer, in this video there will be multiple mentions of suicide, depression, anxiety, stuff like that. So if this video, it will be age restricted, so if you are watching from someone else's YouTube, please ensure that you are watching with someone over the age of 18. Okay, so let's get into this video. All right, I'm going to recount the story from I was probably from, all right, let's put it back to grade 10, because grade 10 is probably the age when I could identify some of my issues I was having. And firstly, guys, let me point out, I was not a perfect child. I was not a perfect daughter. I don't think anybody was. And my parents, they aren't perfect people. They still aren't perfect people. They weren't perfect people at that time. They're not perfect people right now. Anyhow, when I was in grade 10, I knew at that point that I was struggling with some stuff deeper than I was willing to admit, because well, let's just say I could put my finger on it then. And when I was in grade 10, so like before the first semester of grade 10, you know, in January they come for parent day to collect the reports and so on. In the first semester, I knew that I lost all will, all reason, all will to live, right? And while I was at school, I went to a prominent all-girls school. While I was at school, I felt like I wanted to jump over the railing at school and just kill myself and not be there. I wanted to take my own life, which in other terms are suicide. And my teachers found out, you know, that's not something that they're going to be okay with. They found out, and before I get into anything else, I just want to say my mother grew me the best way she knew how. I mean, they weren't brought up knowing how to express love, and I knew from an earlier age that I would need to be shown love as much as I am able to give love. And when I was in grade 10, I decided that was the first time the thought of suicide came to my mind. And suicide is just a result of issues that are far deeper. And it was because of things from my home life. So, you know, parent day, my mother came and she was collecting my report. But because of the incident that happened at school that nobody knew about, I had to go to the vice principal to collect my report. And even though the average at that time was good, you know, that they had to report to my mother that she had an episode. She wanted to jump over the railing and kill herself and so on. And at that time, my mother was furious. You know, we leave school, I come home, and she upset, and she called the whole church. She called the whole church. She called my father. She called people who at that age I didn't want to disappoint. She called all of them and she told them, you know, so she want to kill herself or whatever. Mind you, this is the type of person that my mother is. She no hold nothing, none at all. She no hold it as long as she know it, and she knows it especially about her children. She is going to tell someone else, not in aims that probably they pray for me or them try to help me through it, But at that time, she never even think say maybe it was something deeper. So you know, she call and she tell them and she cuss and throughout my high school years, I was basically lost. And after grade 3, I've never had a relationship with my mother. You know, my father was furious, but you could have see concern in his face. Him did I try wonder why Denisha would have wanted something like this, and him did I wonder why Denisha would have wanted something like this. And after all of that, after all of that, 5th form pass, 6th form pass, and it wasn't until 6th form, as I said, I wasn't a perfect child. I must go to school one day and something big happened, which is another story, because of my sexuality. What happened was a lie, but it was what I had to tell them so that I wasn't outed too early. And something big happened, and my mother at that time, she refused to give me lunch money to go to school. She refused to say, oh, I'm not gonna pay your CXCs, because your CAPE, because of what you did at that time. And I felt very unloved in the situation, because even if something like that had happened for real, it was natural in my opinion. Things like that can happen with your children. It's up to you as parents to educate your child. Also, I was brought up as a creative, so, well, not brought up as, growing up, I knew that I was more interested in things that were creative: drama, singing, sign language, dancing, being expressive. I knew that those were things that I was more interested in than say reading up, say I'm going to school, whatever. Not that I'm dumb, I'm not dumb at all, and I prefer reading, you know, going through things that I enjoy and so on. But this is who I was, this is who I am. And didn't want to be outed in 6th form, and I want to go through it properly so that I can express to you guys. I know that there are a lot of us millennials out there whose parents didn't show us a lot of love, people who are like me. And it's not that my parents didn't show me a lot of love. They made sure I had everything that I needed physically to grow as a young woman. But I have a lot of friends now who have kids, and I know that you have the potential to be a great parent, but you cannot only focus on the educational side of your child. Your child will have other talents. They will grow up to be either creative, be good with their hands, be very outspoken. Those talents are also talents that you need to explore, cultivate, grow within your child, so that they can be the best version of themselves, right? So after lower 6th form, then I may skip out whole heap of the details because I don't want this video to be too long. All of that, I was pulled out of the closet, to say the least. And just comment down below, let me know if you guys would like to hear my coming out story. Let me know if you'd like to hear that. I'll put that in a video. But I was pulled out of the closet, and after being pulled out of the closet, listen, it was the worst time of my life. And I left 6th form when I was 18. I was pulled out of the closet at 19. My mother put me out multiple times. So she put me out multiple times. I think I got in my head at about age 20 that my mother had no love for me, when my brother, we were having an argument in the house based on something that was going on, and my brother, him come and him thump me in my face, in my nose, and it start bleed, and my father jumping on the middle, and him said, no, but you can't do that. And she sat there and she looked me in the face and she said, my son like one demon, and my son like one demon, and my father for come out of the way my brother beat me up, and for come out of the way my brother beat me up. And you don't know how much anger and how much hurt you are carrying around with you, no matter how much you think you get over it, until you get to a place where you can talk about it and not feel the hurt and the anger that you had before. That's when you know you are actually over it. I didn't forgive my mother for the time and everything that I had gone through until I was 26, which was last year, 2019. And what else? Yeah, I really don't want to miss out anything, but I don't want to be too long. I didn't forgive my parents for that, because when my mother put me out the first time, my mother put me out, my father, he didn't put his foot down as a man to say, no, this is not going to happen in a house that they shared, especially with, as it relates to his daughter. And that took me back, because I was saying, I have nobody, there's nobody that I can depend on. And based on what was going on, I didn't think I did anything wrong, but what I do know is that how our parents are brought up is they are brought up with a mentality that there is one particular path to success, and they have already outlined a plan for they outlined a plan for my life, the way how they saw it going, the way how they wanted it to go. But I took my life in my own hands the first time my mother put me out, and I was here, there, and I was everywhere, staying with my cousins, staying with a friend, flying on one man on the road. Never made no sense. I took my life in my own hands, and it hurt. It hurt. When I was 21 is when I was officially diagnosed with major depression. I was diagnosed with anxiety, and after the first time my mother put me out, and my uncle Steve, bless his heart, he came from overseas, and he was so upset at my father that he allowed my mother to put me out of the house that they built together, and he came and he got me from my cousin's house. Right? He came and he got me from my cousin's house, and throughout that entire time, I was having terrible dreams, traumatic dreams about my mother and I couldn't get over it. But as I got older and I grew, I know that my mother, my parents, they did what they thought was best for me at the time. And yes, I was angry, I was upset. I was angry, I was upset. The relationship with me and my mother still has not been fixed, but I have forgiven her because she'd never know better. She never know better. And I cannot hold her accountable for something that she didn't know. I am sharing this video because I know that there are a lot of young people out there who are struggling with their identity. They are struggling with who they are. They are struggling because they don't feel as loved as they should be by their parents. They feel like that their parents, you guys don't have a connection. You guys, there is nothing that you can talk about. Fear has been driven into the relationship, so you're afraid to go to them, you're afraid to speak about it, you're afraid to speak up, to be open. I just want to encourage you guys, let you know that one, they do not love you. They do love you, but they're loving you in the way that they know how to. They're loving you in the way that they know how to. I knew that I had this anger towards my parents the most the second time, because the second time I tried to commit suicide, I was at my parents' house. When I was diagnosed with depression, my parents did not know. When I tried to commit suicide, they did not know. My terrible dreams that caused me to have anxiety when I was on antidepressants, they did not know. And these are things that I want to point out. My fellow millennials who are having children, I want you to pay attention to your child, develop a bond with your child, love your child, love your child for who they are, who they are, and don't try and have a plan for them. Cultivate their talents, grow their talents, pour into them, teach them things that you did not know. And this video, I know my mother is going to see it, my father is going to see it. My father knows that I love him, gone to bed, but this is not something that my mother knows. When she watches it, I just want her to know that it is a new year. I love you, Miss Cynthia, even though it seems like I don't. There are things that were not said in this video that caused scars, but I've healed from them. And I just want you to enjoy your year, to continue, not to continue, because there are still areas in your life that you need to improve upon, same here, but to continue to touch the lives of people that come around you, to be a good person. And I hope that sometime in the future we can build a relationship that we didn't have before. And millennials, millennial parents, millennial young people who watch this video, repair the relationships that you have with people that are broken, people that you care about. Every time you think about the relationship that you and the person have, if you're hurt, I want you to try your best to repair that relationship, because at the end of the day, it doesn't make any sense one of you fall out of this life without knowing how much the other care for each other, for the other. You understand what I'm saying? It is okay to forgive. It takes the weight off of you, and it really does make you a better person. So thank you guys so much for coming back, watching this video on Black and White Confessions. Please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, press the bell and select all so your post notifications can be turned on. Thank you guys so much for coming back to another episode of Black and White Confessions, and I will see you next video. Bye.